Hey everyone, I'm meteorologist Mark Collins. Today we're talking about forecast models and which particular model did better at forecasting Hurricane Ian. I wrote a story about this on newsforjax.com. This model forecasted Hurricane Ian's track best. And which one was it? It was the Euro, knocking out the King GFS, which has actually been the better model for some time with new configuration, new model data that has been going into it, new parameterization schemes. It has actually outperformed all other models with every storm last year and even up into this year. So Ian was the first curveball that kind of knocked out the model, and the European did much better. Let's take a look at the red line here. This was the actual path that Ian took. And even early on, the Hurricane Center was expecting the storm to be north of the Tampa Bay area. They were kind of weighing their forecast closer to the GFS, even though the European model was closer towards South Florida. But over time, eventually the GFS did switch back closer to the European model. And you can see here the evolution. The darker colors are the more recent model runs. And you can see how the EC, or the European Center for Medium Range Prediction, was always more towards the Tampa Bay areas or pointed southward, whereas there was a greater spread of runs out towards the Gulf and more north of landfall in the GFS. Eventually those swung back in line. And we all know the aftermath. Fort Myers was struck by the storm. So what caused the shifts? Well, it appears that the GFS was more deeper, more powerful with the anticipation of the storm. And it was anticipating that the trough of lower pressure was going to steer it more northward by the southerly wind. So if you go to the newsforjax.com website, I talk about upper level steering flow and how the European model was a little bit deeper with that trough and actually got picked up by the westerly winds and pushed into Florida quicker than what the GFS was looking at. And because of those nuances and the way the models are built differently, with the physics involved with them, they can have different outcomes in the tracks. So whether or not this is a new trend, I doubt it. I still think the GFS has been doing really well, and it will continue to do well with these new changes that NCEP, the National Centers for Environmental Prediction, has built into the models. And of course, we'll be keeping you up to date on new model runs with each and every storm that will impact Florida. But fortunately, the tropics are quiet. Other than Julia moving towards Nicaragua, we have nothing to worry about. But the hurricane season is still in effect through November 30th, and we'll be keeping you posted here on newsforjax.com.